Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavad-gita, Unnamai Uravil, Chapter 6, Text 43. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Verse is written here. Tatratang buddhi sangyogam labhate pauravadehikam yatate chattato bhuya Sangsiddho Kurunandana. Want to kill me? Alright, then you kill me. It's for Shab. Pechon teke Shab ke dawa hoy. Pechon teke Shab ke dawa hoy. Okay, alright, so now I'm alive, thank you. You didn't kill me.
Prasadam, we are not going to kill you. We are not giving you prasadam.
Kintu marjada rakha uchetna. On taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Kuru. King Bharat, who took his third birth in the family of a good Brahmana, is an example of good birth for the revival of previous transcendental consciousness. King Bharat was the emperor of the world, and since his time this planet has been known among the demigods as Bharatavarsha. Formerly it was known as Ilarvartavarsha. The emperor at an early age retired for spiritual perfection but failed to achieve success. In his next life he took birth in the family of a good Brahmana and was known as Jara Bharat because he always remained secluded and did not talk to anyone. And later on he was discovered as the greatest transcendentalist by King Ruhugana. From his life it is understood that transcendental endeavors or the practice of yoga never go in vain. By the grace of the Lord, the transcendentalist gets repeated opportunities for complete perfection in Krishna consciousness. On taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Kuru. This is one of a series of verses in which Lord Krishna replies to a doubt of Arjuna's. Arjuna asks Krishna, what happens to someone who gives up all his material prospects to execute yoga? Hare Krishna. You got sound? Is it working with yours? Somehow or other in India, it's always a mess, the sound system. In other countries, not like this. Why? Why is it like that?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Still not. Okay, just turn it off. Turn it off. Yeah, Arjuna was asking that if someone takes up yoga, giving up their material prospects, but also fails to attain success in yoga, then what is his destination? He wasn't a material success because he gave up his material prospects, and he wasn't a spiritual success either. So you could say he's a complete failure. That was Arjuna's doubt. But Krishna said no. That activities, auspicious activities, never go in vain. That material activities, then they never give any substantial reward. Everything that can be gained on the material platform is temporary and unsatisfying. But even if one is not successful in one life in spiritual activities, Krishna says that person again gets an opportunity in a future life. He carries on. And he eventually attains, as stated here, Samsiddhi, complete success. So Krishna consciousness is full of hope. Because Krishna, he keeps a special eye on his devotee. Even if the devotee goes away from Krishna consciousness, Krishna doesn't allow him to go too far away. Krishna is especially he wants to help everyone to come to him, but especially those who have deliberately and consciously started to make the endeavor to go to him, Krishna especially helps them. Now, I especially wanted to discuss this verse today. I had a special reason for doing so. Because one of my disciples, I think maybe you know him, Nityananda Das from Latvia, who gives lectures in Tamil, very intelligent young boy. He sent me some questions. So I thought it was too much to send an email in reply, so I thought I'll give a lecture and send that instead. So these are his questions, and it's connected to the subject of the verse. So he wrote, did Krishna personally think of every one of us before distributing his mercy in the form of an opportunity to be engaged in bhakti? You can read through it in English and Tamil.
Or his mercy completely follows the mercy of his devotee preacher. There is no doubt that it is Krishna's personal interest to bring everyone back to Godhead. But the doubt is, what comes first? Lord's specific desire to deliver the particular jiva, and the Lord arranges for a preacher to approach that soul, or it is preacher's desire which causes all the arrangement for deliverance. This question is an attempt to reconcile the following statements.
Yeah, you have to read it. I'll read the Bengali. I'm better at Bengali than you. Emana durmati সংসার ভিতরে পড়িয়া আছিনু আমি তবা নিজ জন কোন মহাজনে পাঠাইয়া দিলে তুমি
O Lord, with such a wicked mind as this, I have fallen into the material world, but you have sent one of your pure and elevated devotees to rescue me.
Go on, there's more.
The theory of chance can best be explained in the Vedic literature by the words Ajnana Sukruti, Agyata Sukruti, which refer to pious activities performed without the actor's knowledge. But these are also planned. Krishna comes like an ordinary human being. He comes as a devotee like Lord Chaitanya, or he sends his representative, the spiritual master or pure devotee. This is also the planned activity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They come to canvass and educate, and thus a person in the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord gets a chance to mix with them. On the other hand, if you agree that Bhakti impregnates the devotee's heart as a result
Wait a minute, you should say that's a quote. What you just read is a quote from Bhagavatam. Okay, now we're going back to Nityananda's question, his own question. No, just go on reading.
On the other hand, if we agree that Bhakti impregnates the devotee's heart as a result of Krishna's causeless mercy, then understanding this becomes easier. Yet, one may raise the question as to why the Lord's mercy often seems to be unequally dispensed.
Unequally distributed.
Is the Supreme Lord guilty partiality?
Guilty of partiality. He left the word of out.
If the Lord's grace is causeless, then He must shower it everywhere without consideration. But it is seeing that His mercy is not freely given to all. Should we blame Krishna for being biased or even unfair? The truth is that the Supreme Lord is subservient to His devotees' wishes. Therefore, He emulates His devotee in dispersing mercy. Based on this fact, it is easy to see that if the Madhyam devotee is merciful to someone, the Lord automatically showers His mercy on that recipient. This conclusion is sound in all respects.
Alright, cell phones off please. Otherwise you don't get the mercy. So it's a severe accusation against the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That He's not fair. Actually, Prataparudra Maharaj said this about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to deliver every jiva in the universe except one certain king called Prataparudra. So the question begins with this one. Is Krishna, is He searching out jivas to give His mercy to, or He just gives the complete power of attorney to His devotees? Certainly Krishna wants to deliver everyone, except those who are sitting with their backs to the deities. Like you. But the devotees want the people to be delivered, so they... Krishna arranges the material world so that the fallen jivas can forget Him, which is what they want to do. But at the same time, Krishna makes all kinds of arrangements so that they can try to remember Him. For this purpose, He gives the Vedic literatures. He personally comes into the world in His various forms, Ram, Nrsimha, Varaha, Kurma, and so on. He manifests as His Nam, His Dham, and in so many ways. And especially He sends His devotees to canvass on His behalf, to tell people, Bhaja Krishna, Bolo Krishna, Karo Krishna Shiksha. So when someone gets Krishna's mercy in the form of taking up Krishna consciousness, is that because Krishna desired it or because his devotee desired it? Yeah. It's a little bit like the chicken and the egg question, isn't it? But we know that Krishna is the source of everything and everything works under Krishna's direction. But He also works through His representatives. And actually, there is no difference in the desire of the Supreme Lord and His devotees. Sadhava hridaya mahyang sadhunang hridayang tvahang maranyate na jananti nahang tebhyo managapi. Krishna says that devotees are my heart and I am the heart of my devotees. They know nothing but me and I know nothing but them. So, the very meaning of a pure devotee is that he has no desire other than the Lord's desire. I remember as a child being brought up in the Christian faith that although I was quite unimpressed by many things in it, the one thing I was very impressed was the words of Lord Jesus praying to God, Thy will, not mine, be done. Thy will means your desire. He's praying to God. Let that be, your will be done, not mine. In other words, He's saying, I'll do whatever you want. Because He knew He was going to be crucified, but He thought, if you want it, okay, I'm ready. I don't want it, but you want it? Okay. So I was very impressed by that. But later, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, hearing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions, Ashlishava Padritam, etc., I came to understand that even higher is that the pure devotee, they don't have any desire different from Krishna. It's not that, well, I have my desire and Krishna has his desire, but I'll do what Krishna wants, but rather his desire is automatically non-different from Krishna's. So pure devotees, they come to this world to execute the will of the Lord. And it is said that devotees, they are more merciful than the Lord, because they go among people that the Lord will not go among. When the Lord comes to this world, He moves among His own associates. But the devotees, they go among all the non-devotees also and try to inject them with Krishna consciousness. Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is the Supreme Lord, in the form of a devotee, is famous for His mercy in going among even the Chandals, or the most rejected section of society, and asking them to chant the names of Krishna. So, especially in this avatar, Gaurnitai, Paramakarana Pahundui Jana Nitai Gaurachandra, they're the most merciful incarnations. All the different forms of the Lord, they come simply to show mercy to the conditioned souls. But especially when Krishna comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, He is especially merciful. Who can be more merciful than Krishna? Only Krishna. But this gives the idea that Krishna, in some incarnations, He withholds something. Krishna, in various incarnations, He presents Himself, I am here. But as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, He canvasses. He doesn't just present, I'm here if you like, you can come. But He goes and preaches among all the fallen souls.
Anal Chaitanya Mahaprabhu,
Nayamrigam Dayatepsitam Anvadhavad. He runs after the souls who are captured by Maya. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is considered the most merciful of all the incarnations. And the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's said about them that Krishna Prem, Krishna Dite Dhare Mahashakti. They all have great power to give Krishna and love of Krishna. Now, one thing we have to consider here is that Krishna is giving His mercy directly and through His devotees. But it's up to the jiva to accept that mercy. Even though the mercy is given to, the opportunity is there, but not everyone takes it. So, if we say that when Krishna arranges for His devotee to go to some particular jiva, then that jiva is generally one who's ready to receive that mercy. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. So what is the meaning of the fortune? Is it simply some kind of lottery that some jiva somehow or other, just by chance, gets the mercy of Krishna? And the mercy of Krishna is manifested through His representative. By the mercy of Krishna, one gets a guru who teaches how to approach Krishna. So by the mercy of Guru, one gets Krishna. Now, one who is ready to receive the message of Krishna, Krishna will arrange for such a person to come in contact with someone who can deliver that message to him. Someone who is beginning to be ready to hear about Krishna and follow His instructions. That will mean because in a previous life he has had some contact with devotees and devotional service. Generally this is the case. Agyata Sukriti is mentioned in this here. Agyata means not known. And Sukriti means pious activities. So Agyata Sukriti means pious activities that one has executed even without one's knowledge of doing so. in the Vedic literature, Karma Kanda section, there are various activities which one may do to acquire sukriti, piety. Punya is the word. And by performing punya karma, one gets the opportunity to enjoy this world by going to the heavenly planets and so on. Now, an example of one punya karma or sukriti is planting shade trees on the side of a road, so that people walking along the road, they won't suffer from the scorching direct scorching sunshine. So by performing that pious activity, one gets the opportunity to enjoy some result of material enjoyment in a future life. So it's recommended that one live in a pious kingdom where there's a pious king. If there's a pious king, then pious brahmanas and others will like to live in that kingdom. So it makes a good atmosphere for performing punya karma. And also you get more benefit from doing so. If a pious brahmana walks under your shade tree, you get more benefit than if some sinful person walks under the shade tree. But actually all this punya karma, it's all useless ultimately. Because even after going to the heavenly planets, you don't enjoy there and you have to come back again. So what's the use? But if a devotee walks along the road where you've planted the shade trees, he's chanting the holy names and he's going village to village to preach Hari Katha, then the person who planted that tree, he gets what is called Agyata Sukriti. He gets, unknown to him, he gets the pious result of having served a Vaishnava, which benefits the tree planter with material pious result, but it also gives him the result of having served a Vaishnava. Or it may be that even in the form of a jiva who's trapped in the form of a dog, he comes around after prasad has been distributed and eats some of the leftover prasadam. So the jiva in the form of a dog has no idea what is prasadam, what is bhakti or any such thing, nor is it possible to explain such things to a jiva in such a wretched condition. But nevertheless, he gets the benefit of honoring Vishnu Prasad. So in these ways, if one comes in contact with Vishnu Bhakti, there are many, many ways, then the consciousness becomes prepared for understanding Krishna. That one becomes inclined, the tendency to be inclined towards bhakti, that starts to grow within the consciousness of the conditioned soul. And when that becomes developed sufficiently, then one starts to think, well, what is the purpose of life, and is there God, and all these things. Now we see, if we hear the story of how different people have come to Krishna consciousness, we'll find in every case that you can see the hand of the Lord is there. In retrospect, you can see that Krishna was arranging it so that I could come to bhakti. Krishna is making some arrangements. At the time I was thinking, everything in my world is just collapsing. But then later you see, it all collapsed, but at the end I got the chance to serve Krishna and the Vaishnavas. So Krishna takes active interest in delivering persons who are just beginning to become inclined towards his bhakti. Please don't lean on Prabhupada's Vyasa-san. Now, the devotees, who are sent by Krishna from his world to this world, they fulfill that function of picking up the jivas who are becoming inclined towards bhakti. And therefore, if one gets a bona fide spiritual master, it can be understood that he is getting the direct help of the Lord who has sent that devotee to help him. But the devotees, they don't restrict their welfare activities to those who are or those who are very much interested in Krishna consciousness. They preach Krishna consciousness among everybody, because they see that everyone is a jiva and everyone has the possibility to come to Krishna consciousness. So that anyone who comes in contact with the devotee, they get benefited, either for this life or a future life. Just like that example, the devotee is walking under the shade tree. So the person who planted the tree may not take to bhakti in this life. He might have already gone to the heavenly planets. But because of the movements of the devotees in the world, they purify the world. Vaishnava kshiti pavanaha. Devotees, they purify the world by their very presence. I was reading about one of Prabhupada's godbrothers. There used to be one man who used to come and argue with him regularly. And his disciples used to say, why you want to waste time with this person? You're just coming and wasting your time, arguing again and again. But that devotee said, no, the Hari Katha, that is never in vain. That someday he will be benefited by hearing that. And others, they're also coming and listening, so they're also benefiting. So, the devotees, they are sent by the Lord and they deliver specifically those who take up Krishna consciousness very enthusiastically. Just like Prabhupada several times said that speaking about his disciples in the Western countries, he said, you are all devotees in previous lives. And then once some devotee asked Prabhupada, well, how could that be? Because in this life we are engaged in so many sinful activities. And Prabhupada said that the fact that as soon as you came in contact with Krishna consciousness, you left all those things and with full heart took up Krishna consciousness, shows that those sinful activities, that was just superficial. So devotees, they come to this world. We're talking about the very great devotees who are representatives of the Supreme Lord, direct representatives. And they act for the benefit of every jiva. That is, just as the Lord does, but the devotee maybe even more so. And they especially deliver those who want to be delivered, who are enthusiastic about Krishna consciousness. But the devotee, he may also think that, he may think this person should be delivered, even though he doesn't appear to have any qualification. And even the animals that have association with devotees, by the mercy of the Lord, they are delivered. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, is described how Shivananda Sen, great devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he organized the devotees from Bengal, maybe 200 devotees group, to go from Bengal to Puri every year to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, at one point along their journey, a dog joined their group. So Shivananda Sen said, it's my duty to feed everyone in this group, and the dogs also join the group, so I should feed him also. Sometimes dogs are also attracted to Krishna consciousness. In one village recently I visited in Andhra Pradesh, there are devotees there, every day they go on Harinam, and every day 3 dogs join them. And when I went there, they usually do early in the morning, but that time we were doing 4:00 in the afternoon, the dogs came. And they go to devotees' houses, they only take prasadam. So this dog of Shivananda Sen's was, he thought, this is a group of Vaishnavas, and the dog joined the group, so he's also a Vaishnava. So by the mercy of Shivananda Sen, that devotee got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and went back to Godhead. Similarly, Srivas Thakur, very dear devotee of the Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, I bless that all the members of your household, they should all get Krishna Prem. So Srivas, he was a Vaishnava, so he didn't distinguish between one jiva and another jiva. So the cats and dogs in his household, they're also members of his household, so they also got Krishna Prem. So a devotee prays, let me become the dog of a Vaishnava. Somehow if I can get the mercy of a Vaishnava. Because somehow or other, if a Vaishnava is pleased with one, then Krishna is obliged to give his mercy. Because the Vaishnava, he is the custodian of Krishna's mercy. Therefore we say, His divine grace, Srila Prabhupada. Krishna Kripa Srimurti means the very form of Krishna's mercy. So it may appear to be almost whimsical. We, with our scientific, mathematical background, we think that everything should be like on a chessboard. Everything should be exactly in the right place. But Krishna, He gives opportunities for His mercy to everybody. But you can't define Krishna's mercy by any mathematical formula. He may give His mercy to someone and not to someone else. Not that His mercy is denied to anybody, but His devotee, while moving in this world, if somehow or other some jiva becomes the object of his affection, then that jiva is delivered by Krishna. If someone somehow or other approaches Krishna, Krishna delivers that person. If someone approaches Krishna in hatred, He may kill them, and in this way they will attain liberation. Kubja approached Krishna with almost material lust, and she also was purified by Krishna. But the gopis, they approached Krishna with pure love, which appeared like material lust, and so they attained the topmost prema. But somehow or other, if one comes in contact with Krishna, one is always benefited. And therefore Krishna comes to this world, He sends His devotees, and He makes so many arrangements so that the conditioned souls can come in contact with Him. But it also depends on the jiva, that if he has no desire to come to Krishna, if he's adamant not to do so, then Krishna will allow him to forget him also. But especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is meant for delivering even the Dino Hino Joto Chilo, Hariname Udharilo. All the most fallen and rascals are delivered by the holy name. In the Western countries, it's quite common when our devotees go out to chant the holy names in the streets, that some people will block their ears and run away. They don't want to hear the holy name. Because they think, I don't want to be purified. I don't want to be Krishna conscious. They run away blocking their ears, but the sound has already entered their ears. It's too late. One time, about 1973, there was a lot of propaganda against our Hare Krishna movement in Germany. And every day in the newspapers there was outrageous reports. The Hare Krishna movement, they're all criminals, thieves, murderers, and kidnappers, and whatever else you can think of, which is not very nice. And it was very difficult for our devotees. They were going out and distributing books, and as soon as people saw them, they thought, thief, murderer, cheater, liar. Still, somehow or other, our devotees were still distributing so many books, even though it was quite normal for our book distributor devotees to be punched up and beaten up. So the devotees, they said to Prabhupada, it's terrible. There's so much bad propaganda. Prabhupada said, it's very good. The whole country is thinking about Krishna. And what happened actually is that all the young people who were against the authorities, and they all thought Hare Krishna must be very good, because if the government doesn't like us, then it must be good. And actually now, one generation later, the devotees who are distributing books in Germany, they're saying, such a wonderful atmosphere. People, they want our books so much. So Krishna has His own plans how to deliver the whole world through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, which Srila Prabhupada has come and he's effected the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Krishna consciousness be spread all over the world. And it's a wonderful movement. Krishna consciousness is being preached all over the world. Although sometimes people who they become very close to our movement, they see there are so many internal problems. But nevertheless, I have faith that however much we ourselves are incapable of properly representing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all of us in ISKCON together are not so powerful that we can stop Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire to deliver the whole world. It will happen despite us. And actually there are many signs that all over the world people are becoming prepared to receive the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if we do our duty of following in the footsteps of the Acharyas, then we can also become purified and become instruments to help spread the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to every jiva in the universe. It's quite common in Bangalore, so I've heard, that there's a burnout syndrome, that these software engineers, they're becoming advanced and progressive and modern, and all of a sudden they can't take it anymore. And then they end up in the mental hospital, actually. What's that mental hospital? What's it called? That mental hospital in Bangalore that's full of software engineers? Huh? Neemhans. He's a ex-Chennai, Bangalore software engineer, one of that species. It's quite a big species. So, Neemhans Mental Hospital in Bangalore is full of ex-brilliant software engineers. They burn out. That was a good translation. Now, there's no words in these languages. There's words like Paramahamsa, Bhagavan. They don't have words like software engineer. These languages are meant for understanding Krishna. That's why. That's why they don't have words like that. This Indian culture is meant for understanding Bhagavan, not for understanding Windows or what's that new one? Vista is coming. Mac and
in the India
so many. What's that one, that freeware that's popular? Linux, so many things. So what's happened is people, they're brought up, they have this pious culture, and then they become so impious, and then they just go crazy. And I think it's going to happen to the whole of India. India is becoming grossly westernized and degraded and materialistic. Great, very good. Someday it's all going to go pop. You have a word for pop in Tamil. And everyone's going to go, oh, this is horrible. Let's become Krishna conscious. It's already happening in the Western countries. People they're fed up of the modern way of life and they're looking for alternatives. And it will happen quicker in India because people in India, they're meant for pious life. Of course, they're also the representatives of Kamsa and Jarasandha. They were also Indians. But they also got the mercy of Krishna. So Krishna's whole mission is to give out the mercy. Exactly how it's being given out, that's Krishna has his tricks. Krishna makes arrangements that people, they can become purified by association of his devotees. Those of you who have come in contact with his devotees, take advantage of it and help spread this mercy to others. By the devotee's sincere desire, this person should be delivered. Krishna within the heart of that person prompts them to respond. This is how the books of the Krishna conscious movement are being distributed all over the world. We can understand to some extent why people in India, they purchase Bhagavad-gita and other books when our devotees go out to distribute them. But how so many millions of these books have been distributed in the Western countries, how can that be explained? How is it possible? What is the technique? What do the book distributors say to people so that they can convince them to take the book? What is the formula? The formula is just pray to Krishna. Krishna, please inspire this person to take this book. Then Krishna will inspire the book distributor to say just the thing which will click with the consciousness of the person and say, okay, I'll take the book. So in India also, it's not easy. It's not that when you're going door to door distributing books, everyone comes out and offers arti to you and does. They should do, but they don't. If we pray to Krishna, that Krishna, let this person take this book, Krishna will prompt within the heart, He'll prompt them to say yes. So it's a joint effort between Krishna and His devotees, how to deliver the jivas. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha patitam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Questions? You want to ask a question? You're driving your way back to Godhead. It's always driving the devotee.